your mother. What did your mother teach you about love and dating?
Oh my God, if it doesn't feel right, let it go. If it doesn't make you the very best version of yourself, let it go. You know, my mother is the example of grace, womanhood, strength to me. The way that my father loves on her is an example that I keep near and dear to my heart.
Just like me, these people are frustrated. Just like me, they're trying to get home. Just like me, like there was just a way to kind of calm you down and like make you realize that everyone is kind of dealing with this. Everybody's dealing with something.
It's very difficult if you have not been taught to care for others. It's very difficult to understand what you're saying, because we do live in a very selfish society right now where it's all about me, how I feel, how I'm doing, how I'm hurt. You know, forget how, it's almost like narcissism.
This is Collective Drift. I'm your host, Erica Vernay Knowles. This platform was created to celebrate all women, the beauty of their cultures, and international travel experiences. Welcome to Collective Drift.
Hello, everyone. I'm Erica Knowles, the founder of Collective Drift, which celebrates international women, culture, and travel. And today I'm here with my guest, Nicole Gates. She is the owner of Lil Greenhouse Grill in Overtown. So shout out to the Overtown CRA. She's the mom to her beautiful son, Carter. She's an international traveler, and she's in love up. So we're going to get up all today. We're going to talk about travel. We're going to talk about balance. We're going to talk about love. We're going to have some fun. And I think we all deserve to have a little bit of fun right now.
I'm looking forward to getting back out. You know, I'm looking forward to traveling more, and especially as the restaurant going through COVID, Karim and I, who is my partner in the restaurant, we've had to really identify ways to ebb and flow with what's going on with the industry. And so we're looking at some really interesting models of changing how we do business, because what if you guys aren't allowed to come back and sit in for the next 6 months? What are we going to do with all that dining room space?
Exactly.
So absolutely.
And what for your customers now?
Well, right now, because of the rising COVID numbers over the last couple of weeks, we've actually suspended dining room seating for the next 2 weeks. It really is in an effort to protect my staff as well, because we get a lot of tourists. We don't want anything to happen. It would just break my heart if one of my staff members got sick from the job. I don't know what I would do, especially if they carried that home to their children or to their parents or to, so I'd rather err on the side of caution. And thanks to your father, our president of the Chamber of Commerce, he brought us 1,000 reusable masks. So that was really wonderful. And I really, really appreciated that effort from him too.
Absolutely wonderful. So tell us more about the restaurant since we're there. Like, what inspired Lil Greenhouse Grill?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so a lot of people are aware, but maybe not aware. Karim Bryant is an excellent chef, and he actually comes out of the restaurant industry. I'm a marketing executive. Selling is what I do, and I come out of media broadcast. So we, at the time, were actually dating, and we decided that, and it was funny, we were trying to go out to dinner one night, and, it was just weird that we couldn't find any place at night to eat in Overtown. And it was, it's like, something's got to be done about this. So we then started putting together a plan to create. We opened up a food truck first. Okay. But Karim's a little bougie in that way. He's, when you come out of 5-star restaurant and then you go into a food truck, it's hot, you got to move equipment. He wasn't to that kind of lay. So he didn't have all this equipment. And I'm gonna tell you how cute it was. We actually bought a food pantry out of Little Havana, and we spent like 3 months completely redoing the kitchen in that pantry. It had stainless steel ceiling, a brand new hood. Girl, I was like, really? it just had to have everything in it that a regular kid. I mean, I don't know if we could fit anything else in that pantry, but we ended up selling it to another couple out of West Palm who was starting a party service. Yeah, so it actually became a really nice investment, and we were able to sell it off.
Hey, a flip is always nice.
Yeah. So, but no, the food truck game was not his thing. I think that lasted maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think it was before we worked on it longer than we ran it. I'll put it that way. But then we got a bid and won the bid at Gibson Park to run their concession stand. And we didn't want to go into that situation, selling regular burgers and hot dogs and things like that. So we really started doing nutritional meals there. And what that did for us also, we were able to secure some training contracts from some NBA training teams and things like that, and from some of the high school training teams. So that really worked out really well. And that was our first foray into like catering and doing outputs of food and things like that. But we also knew that there was a need. We knew also that we were taking a risk, because when you're in urban neighborhoods, there's stereotypically a type of food that does very well. So we knew that by doing what we were doing with wraps and grilled chicken sandwiches and things, that we knew we were taking a risk, but we also knew that Overtown was ready for that change.
And needed it.
And it needed it. Yeah. The kids were so excited about it, to the point that it got the attention of Michael Simpkins.
Right.
We were introduced to him through the Overtown Optimist, and he really liked what he saw. And he happened to own the building that we are in right now, and asked, Karim one day what he would do with that.
Wow.
And Karim, the next thing we knew, we were up in Miami Beach having a meeting and making a deal.
Okay, so now to dig in your business, because you said to dig in your business. So what's the deal with Karim?
That's my friend. That's my partner.
That's your friend. Okay, that's what I think.
Everybody thinks we're married, and we're not married.
So that's why I said we should get in the business. Let everybody know. Let's get the record straight.
And I'm purposefully not drinking tonight with you, Erica, so I don't say anything that's going to get me in trouble. So I'm just...
We're not drinking tonight. We're supposed to be drinking. This is my coconut water with a splash of gin.
But no, that's you know what? We, as women, we should all be so fortunate to have a man in our life that protects us and provides, and can give you the freedom to be who you are. So, marriage wasn't the route for us. We also share Carter, who's our son. Carter is everything, honey. And we share the love of his 2 children, Karim Jr., who is also coming back and helping to take over the business after graduating from Bethune-Cookman. We're so proud of that. And his daughter, Maria. So we share all that love. And it's a very unorthodox type of situation. But no, we are not a couple. We are.
You share love, you share a business, you share a son. That is.
Now, for him, I don't think it makes it hard for him to date. But it makes it very hard for me to date. There ain't no man trying to come. Girl.
You're like, wait, you're in business with this man and you have a child with him, but y'all are not together. Yeah, how do you define that when dating? Like, what happens there?
It's like this. There are men who approach, but they ask that question, if I tell you what it is the first time, believe me. And if you come back and question me again because of your own insecurities, then I can't talk to you anymore. I can't, because already we're going to have problems and issues, So it's a very weird situation. There are very few men who I think can probably have the patience to navigate that situation. It's so funny that for the last couple of years, I have not dated. I made the choice not to date at all. And so earlier this year, after Oprah made her visit, it's like, how do you kick off January 3rd with a visit from Oprah? Then all of this stuff happens, So after the visit with Oprah, I did the whole I'm going to live my best life thing. I think I'm ready dating now. And then Corona hits. Is that a sign?
I'm like, the corona and the dating, I feel so bad for people. Well, not too bad because I'm in a long distance relationship and I can't see my man either. But at least I got someone to video chat with.
To hear about this boyfriend, I love to hear about that from you.
Well, see, I just got a splash of gin in here. My man, he lives in Germany, but he's absolutely fabulous. He's just everything anybody could ask for. To me, it's all about, I'll tell the quick of it is, it's about knowing what you want, like truly understanding it down to the detail. Like I was seeing a therapist and she told me to write down the full list. I was like, wait, I thought we weren't supposed to be writing down that picky list. And I wrote down the full list. And I tell you, it says African descent likely. And all I meant was that he was probably going to be Black. I've dated a few white guys. I've dated a few Latin guys. But the relationships are always with someone that's African American, Jamaican, Haitian, whatever. So African descent likely, she said to define it. The man is from Zambia, Nicole.
Oh, okay.
So when I say be specific. But yeah, so like all just a complete manifestation. But no, I've had a lot of friends talk about dating now, and they're like doing these virtual dates and they're doing the apps. Are you doing any of that?
My girlfriend signed when I decided to start dating at the beginning of the year. It's very hard to meet people. I'm working, 12 to 16 hours a day. I don't get out very often. I'm a single mom, so meeting, men in the traditional form was very difficult. And I stopped even doubling back, because if they was left there and you need to leave them there. Yeah. So we're not going to go there. But
no rewind. No rewind. Let this message be loud and clear. There are no rewinds.
No rewinds. But one thing I will say, I'm very good friends with my exes. That's why I have a very good relationship with most of my exes, all except for one.
And then some you just have to cut off and let them go.
Yeah, when I had to cut off. But most of them, very good friends, very supportive of what I have going on in my life, extremely encouraging, want to do business together, because they know that business is my passion. I love business. If you don't have a business, to me, a business mind is the sexiest thing you can have. If you are not business oriented, if you are not about, growth and productivity, we really don't have very much to talk about. I'm not big into gossip and idle chit chat and a bunch of complaining. I'm just not. Yeah, so I have good relationships with them. But back to your story, my girlfriend from Atlanta hyped me up on a dating app. I forgot that I had it. So when I went back into it, it had like 4,823 pages. And so I'm OCD, right, Erica? I'm like, what am I doing all these messages? I cannot. I have to clean out my inbox every day. So that kind of haunted me for a minute that I had. And then I'm so polite because I'm like, well, if they took the time, that's how my mother raised me. If they took the time to write, you need to at least say hello and thank you. But oh my mama, 4,000.
No, you don't need to go through all of them. Just go swipe. No. You can do a quick list now.
There was a whole lot of swiping. A whole lot of swiping.
So speaking of your mother, what did your mother teach you about love and dating?
Oh my God. If it doesn't feel right, let it go. If it doesn't make you the very best version of yourself, let it go. My mother is the example of grace, womanhood, strength to me. The way that my father loves on her is an example that I keep near and dear to my heart. My mother had me as a teenager, and my father is actually my stepfather. And so I had the privilege of actually watching them grow up in love. There's a lot that I remember. I remember the mistakes. I remember, what they had to go through to get to what people see as perfection right now, So I have a real appreciation for the struggle of love and for loyalty and for sticking it in, because my parents did it. So when I meet these men who say, oh, I don't believe in love, I don't believe in marriage, and marriage isn't real. Well, that's your reality, because the reality that I have is that marriage is very real, and it's the strongest bond probably that two people can make to one another. That is the ultimate commitment.
So what do you think got them through those hard times?
They just made a decision. It was, and my mother, like me, is a businesswoman. Marriage, I think, from what I saw from my parents, it wasn't just about love. It was about business as well, and they made very good decisions together. They made very good sacrifices for one another. My father was military, so my mother had to hold off a lot while he traveled around, or while every 3 years we had to move. My mother has, a couple of degrees, but it took her forever to get those degrees, because every 3 years we had to pack up, move, go to another place. She had to transfer credits. She had to start over again. So there were those sacrifices that were made, on both of their parts. Not only did they make sacrifices for each other, but I will never forget my last year of high school. My father was stationed over in Italy. And my mother and father made the sacrifice to stay apart so that I could graduate with my high school class in Virginia, for that year. And I saw how hard it was for my mother, because she had to pack up the house and she had to do all of this, sell the house. And, she had to do all of that by herself and get me off to school. And, and that's a sacrifice that I will never, ever take for granted or forget. But one thing my mother does say to me, though, she says I have a problem.
Really? Why did you think that?
She was like, I think it's you. You have a problem with commitment. I like change. I adapt very well to change. And, if it don't fit, if something doesn't feel right, you got to move on.
I 100% agree with you. If it's not right, and you said that's what she taught you. If it doesn't feel right, then move on. What are we wasting our time here for? And then I just, implore you to put on that list someone that gives you a dynamic relationship where you all are doing stuff that are different all the time, so you can keep that relationship. It can continue to change within it.
Absolutely. Girl, I would never ever let my parents pick somebody for me, child. He would be probably the total antithesis of anything that would hold my interest. So I'm so glad that they just let me do it on my own. And if I come home heartbroken, they know I'm only gonna cry for about a day. That's about it. I'm gonna give it a day.
Right. It's better to love and hurt than never to have loved at all.
Absolutely. I told you I'm very good friends with my exes. We ain't got no beef.
I hear you, definitely. What are some of the things that the women that were consistent in your life taught you about your culture that made you
behave in a way that make your ancestors proud, no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing? I mean, you can be yourself. There are some things inherently about our culture, that is endearing. As Black women, we may laugh a little louder. Child, we may hit you when we laugh. You sorry, white people, we do that. We hit you when we laugh. I'm sorry. So, but in all things, and even with me and the way that I behave at this age, I still think, okay, what I'm doing, will I embarrass my aunts? Will I embarrass my mom? Will I embarrass? And I think, and that's what makes me sad about some of the young people that I see today. They have no filter about who's watching. The stuff they put on social media, the way they behave out in the streets, it's like, don't you have someone who cares enough about you that would chastise you for this behavior? And it breaks my heart when I see, especially, I'm gonna give you an example. Remember that earlier last week, the video came out about the girl at the airport who got slapped by the officer. And, seeing that video and the way, she behaved prior to the altercation with the police officer. I'm not justifying the police officer not have punished her. He should be held to a higher standard. But as Black women, we have got to stop this rah all the time. We have got to. It's not serving anybody any good. It's not helping our cause as Black women. All it's doing is perpetuating the stereotype that's already out there. We want them to stop talking about us in music, and we want them to stop, treating us in negative ways. We even want our Black men to stop calling us bitches and whores, and and we just want that to stop. So we have to stop being that. And nobody's saying you got to walk around with a Bible and, no, nobody's saying that. You could be sexy, you could be vivacious, you could be exciting and all of those things without being nasty. And I just don't understand this culture of nasty that seems to be so pervasive and that seems to be promoted from within. That is what makes me sad about society. It's very, very difficult for us to scream Black Lives Matter when Black women don't matter right now.
Well, it is, we have that double minority.
That's another subject, honey.
Yes. But what do you think? I was watching, as we're on Soul Sunday on Get Vocal, I was watching Super Soul Sunday, and there was someone on there. It was the very last episode. There's a Buddhist nun, and I cannot remember her name right now. But she said when you're in a situation and you're like in a traffic situation, or when you're at an airport and you're frustrated, just anytime, she said, just say, just like me. Just like me, these people are frustrated. Just like me, they're trying to get home. Just like me. Like there was just a way to kind of calm you down and like make you realize that everyone is kind of dealing with this. Everybody's dealing with something.
It's very difficult if you have not been taught to care for others. It's very difficult to understand what you're saying, because we do live in a very selfish society right now where it's all about me, how I feel, how I'm doing, how I'm hurt. It's almost like narcissism. I hurt you, but you made me hurt you. We are not in a society, and self-accountability is not promoted very well right now. Everybody, especially during these COVID and quarantine times, everybody's really feeling their own hurt and themselves. And during these times, I think it's just very difficult for anybody to understand what you just said, but it's necessary. It's necessary if we're going to get past what we're going through.
So we're talking about the quarantine and COVID times. Once quarantine and COVID is over, where would you want to go back to?
You know what? I really want to go to the Bahamas to see what has transpired over there since last year's storms. And, we don't hear a lot about that. And I don't think they're rebuilding quite as fast as they need to in order to get, Freeport is very near and dear to my heart. And, and it was basically destroyed. And so I know it's not the most exotic place, and we can always get to the Bahamas.
I was 12.
But I would really love all the islands. And I just, for them to be so close to us, I'm going to go back to the Bahamas and kind of see what's going on there and how I can help make a difference and what part I can play in getting, them back to where they need to be. I would love to open.
What would you open there?
You know what? I love the restaurant. Kareem's taught me a whole lot about the business, and if done right, the money's very good. Yeah. So I would love to open up maybe a tourist spot there, because they get so many international travelers as well. I wouldn't mind opening up something American over there, tourist. Maybe a Lil Greenhouse Grill, Bahamas. There's some things you can do over there that I can't really do right here.
You can have some conch grits.
Conch grits. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that, that's always, I always made a joke about it, but the more I think about it, the more I think it'll be a reality. I said, when I retired, I was just going to walk the beach and sell coconuts barefoot.
I'm with you.
That's just, hey.
So where's one of your other favorite international destinations? What do you?
Italy. I love the shoes, and oh my gosh, the culture and the history. They do a very good, and Italians are very loving people, very loving. And I just really, like I said, my father was stationed over there. So I got the opportunity to spend a lot of time over there. Not only that, I love hopping on the train and being able to go to other, parts of Europe, so quickly. But Italy has so much to offer. And so, definitely Italy.
What are the women like in Italy?
You know what? They're not much different from us. They're not. Food, family, heritage, culture. The Italian grandmas remind me so much of my grandmother. When you walk into the house, there's always a pot of something on the stove. And, I don't care if you just ate or not, you're hungry. Sit down, eat, get something hot. And what's wrong with you? You're too skinny. You got to eat something.
There's some pasta.
Oh my God. The pomodoro over there is if you eat real Italian food, you will never ever be able to go to the Olive Garden again in your life. But I'm just saying, when you have real crushed tomatoes and olive oil, oh girl, it'll make me salivate.
So if someone were to go to Italy, where would they need to go?
I mean, of course, you've got Rome, that's so full of history and I love also religion. So I think Rome is probably one of the most beautiful places that my parents ever took me to, and just the history and the culture I think is one of the best. Venice, of course. Shopping, fashion. It's just so beautiful. So I mean, and there's so much over there that you can explore. So absolutely, I just say go for it. But that's one of the places internationally that I definitely admire.
I wanted to ask you, what are some of the rituals or even spiritual things that have been able to keep you balanced throughout life?
Oh man,
especially
now. I breathe a lot. And in my breathing, I've learned to just talk to God, because sometimes the spirit can get so plagued and so heavy that it's hard to pray. It's hard to find the words to pray, especially if you're feeling lonely, especially if you're feeling depressed, and with us having to kind of deal with ourselves, now more than ever. Some of us cannot like what we found. So it's kind of hard to look in the mirror, and it's kind of hard to go to God about that. So I have made it a habit to, as I'm breathing, just pray. And there's no greater meditation. I'm not really big on reading self-help books. Not really big on that, because I believe that I really do believe that all the answers that you need, if you go to God, He will reveal them to you. And you've got to learn to trust yourself. I trust myself more than I ever have. Between me and God,
what got you
I trust my spirit. It has never led me wrong. What got me there? Falling, trusting people, tired of, because it's almost like, okay, first time, shame on you, but second time, shame on who? Me. And I don't like being shame on me. I don't like that. So I just stopped putting myself in those positions. Be very careful with who you allow in your circle, who you allow around you, the types of conversations. There was a woman who came into the restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and she was waiting for her food, and she wanted to just talk about another restaurant, just, very negatively. And I had to stop her. And I had to say, we can't do that here. We don't do that here. Maybe in another day I might have let her ramble, but at that particular moment, my spirit said to me to stop her and don't allow her to speak those words in your business.
Yeah, don't even bring that
energy in here.
Enjoy the moment. Enjoy where you are. If you're enjoying it so much, there's no need to talk about the negative experience.
Right. But but again, we're dealing with a society right now that is so plagued with so many negative images. I have to turn off the news because it just gets so much, and it gets into your spirit. And I do not fall asleep with the television on anymore. I can't. Next thing I know, I'm dreaming about Trump and on Mount Rushmore. What is going on? So, I do certain things that are healthy for me. Yeah, prayer is the one thing that has kept me sane through a lot of this because it is hard. It is not easy. Especially when they told us they were going to shut down the restaurant and bills didn't stop. The business stopped, but bills didn't stop. I had to just be creative and buckle down and come up with other ways that we could generate income, to make it through. And I'm really glad that I did because it did. It definitely paid off.
And you were able to get through. I mean, yeah, you're being faced with the restaurant possibly shutting down and being able to, and you fought for that. You were able to prevail. Yeah, prevail and come back and surround yourself with the right people, the right businesses, the right resources.
I give all glory to God. I give all glory for sustainability and for mercy throughout all of that. That last year was I thought last year was the toughest year I ever had battling that whole eviction thing. Until I met COVID-19, honey. This is something definitely. So you never know what you can take until you have to take it. What about you and Mr. Boyfriend, honey? I'm just saying. I mean, am I going to have to get a passport to go for an international wedding?
We're actually looking at moving abroad. So yeah, we're looking at moving to South Africa. So but he's really a caring man, like same love languages, really supportive.
My Lola, honey, I'm holding on to my Lola.
Said you need to commit now. Come on.
Said I have a problem with commitment.
But it doesn't make sense to commit to the wrong one.
And that's what it is. And you know what? And, watching my mother go through what she had to go through at a young age, and watching her overcome that, I've seen how it hurts my parents when I was in relationships that weren't healthy for me. And I promised myself that I would never see that look on my parents' face again. So the relationships in the future that I choose, it's very important to me that my parents are happy with it. Because Lord knows, in my 20s and 30s, honey, I took them through some of everything through that door. I love him. I love him.
My parents used to go behind my back and break me up.
That's what you said about the last one.
Yep, I found out there was a guy I was dating.
Stop!
I was going into my freshman year, and I think this guy was going out of his senior year. And my dad used to manage some music groups, girl. So this is one the boy band he was managing, and I was dating one of the guys. And I found out like years later, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, your father talked to him."
So where's that guy now? Are you still in touch with him?
I'm surprised I even remember his name. So I have two last questions for you.
I'm trying to do this interview.
So if you could ask all women, a question, what is your question for them?
What makes you happy?
That's a good question.
What makes you happy? And I pray the answer does not have anything to do with children or with spouses I think it's so necessary that we know deep down inside inherently what makes us happy. So that when these tough times come along, we can reach to that to give us strength, to give us that extra breath. Because every day is not going to be great. Every day is not going to be, we're going to have moments where we're going to want to cut up in the airport. There's just going to be those days. But we've got to be able to pull on something that's immediate, that gives us a sense of relief and gives us a sense of
absolutely. Because when you're
self-appreciation,
in those down spots, you definitely need to be able to tap onto something quickly, like it's automatic. Otherwise, you're just going to be on the couch.
Hello.
And my final question is, how do you define women? What is a woman?
How do I define women? Oh, wow. Just lovely. Just lovely. Just strength, courage, adaptability. Wow. What what we have had to become
Mhm.
in order to be relevant is so amazing, especially Black women. What we
Yes.
overcome on the daily, amazing. We have the courage to love those who don't love us back. We have the courage to be loyal to those who are not loyal to us. We have the courage that, when we hear them talking about us or when we hear them speaking negatively about us, we still have the courage to exist around them. Women are just lovely. And that's why I just wish these young sisters would treat themselves so much
Absolutely.
better
Well, thank you
because they
so
deserve it.
much. That was a beautiful wrap up. It was lovely.
I love you, girl.
Thank you. I appreciate it and so grateful to have you on Collective Drift.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Collective Drift. Wasn't Nikki? I mean, she was just so much fun. Make sure you follow her on Instagram at Nikki G Wiz, and the spelling of everything is right in the descriptions, but that's NIKKIGEE Wiz. And then, of course, follow Lil Greenhouse Grill and make sure you go visit them and get a takeout order for now at 1300 Northwest 3rd Avenue in Miami, Florida. That's Overtown, Miami, Florida. And I want to thank the Southeast Park West Overtown CRA for supporting this episode and for supporting Lil Greenhouse Grill. Of course, please subscribe to Collective Drift right here, right now, and follow us on Instagram as well. Have a great day or evening. See you soon. Goodbye.